Alright, so we're working on Unit 2, Project 5, which is our customer database. So the first thing we always do when we get to class is we're going to open up our BoxInc folder, click on CEO Challenge, and open up our student workbook. Now, we're going to be on page 94 of our student workbook today. So make sure you're on page 94. And it's always a good idea to go through and read the instructions. I see a lot of students trying to do the assignment without actually reading through and checking the instructions, and then they say, I don't know what I'm supposed to put here, and it will tell you on one of the steps exactly what you need to put in. So make sure you're constantly checking the student workbook. Now, the first thing it tells us to do is to launch a database program. For us, we're going to use Microsoft Excel. So if I click on the magnifying glass and I start typing in Excel, the Microsoft Excel option will automatically pop up. I want a workbook, so I'll click workbook, and now I have this blank Microsoft Excel workbook. I have my student workbook here ready to go to read the instructions, and I have this workbook. Alright, so now that we've got our Excel open, we can begin working. So let's go ahead and look at the first thing it asks us to do. It wants us to, in cell A1, type the first name. So we're going to type big bold first name in cell A1. So you'll notice that across the top you have rows or columns A, B, C, D, E, and so forth. And then as you go down, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm selected right here, this is A1. And that's where it tells me to type first name. So I'll go ahead and type first name. The next thing it asks is to type last name in B1. Last name. And then it asks us to type address in C1. And then it wants us to type city in D1. State in E1. Zip in F1. Telephone in G1. Cell in H1. Email in I1. Hobbies in J1. M/F, which stands for male or female, in K1. M/F. And then finally birthday in L1. Now, we don't really need to adjust any of our column widths at this point. Everything fits. But as we start typing stuff in, we may need to make some of these columns wider in order to fit the names or the address. But for now, we can just leave them as they are. And let's see what the next thing it wants us to do. We're going to skip this section. We don't need to worry about this for now. Alright, so we are going to type in all the information for our customers. We're going to do a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you notice I'm looking at the sample to determine. So there's two different ways I can do it. I can look here, read what I need to do, and I want to remember mine is going to look like the sample when it's done. So I'm going to need 10 total customers information. So this is where you can start making up customer names, address, and again, you can make it up here, so don't spend too much time. We might say John is the first name of our first customer, the last name Smith, and you can put whatever you want here. Address 3456, city La Mesa, state California, zip 91942, telephone we'll go 760-213-5432. Now you notice this is the first one we get where there's a little bit of overlap here, where this number is starting to move into the next column. I can fix that by putting my mouse in between the two columns where I see this pop up on my cursor. Then I can click and drag it to the size, the direction I want it to go. When I release, my column is now larger. Cell phone, we'll skip this. Let's just say it's just a landline. Email is jsmith@mail.com. And again, you can make up anything you want here. Again, it's overlapping. If I were to type something here, it's going to cover up this email address. So we need to click between the two columns, drag it out, and now we have enough room. So hobbies, because my company is a fitness company, we'll say running. John is a male. So boys or men are males, and then women and girls are female. You would put an F. And for birthday, let's give him June 13th of 1990. And with all of this information, you can really make it up however you want. You're just making up customers. The key, and you'll notice what I'm doing right now, is I really like things to look nice and neat. So I'm clicking on the column, I'm dragging, so I'm holding down my mouse button, I'm dragging over all of the columns so everything's highlighted, and I'm now centering the text just so that everything kind of looks nice and neat and even. I could also maybe move everything to the left and it would look nice also. So you're going to do this for a total of 10 different customers. But what I want you to do before, you need to make sure this top row, this row 1, looks just like this. First name, last name, address, city, state, zip, telephone, cell, email, hobbies, male, female, and birthday. Once you have this, spend some time putting in other information here. Alright, so I've entered a few names here. I only have 5, so I'm about halfway done. Yours will look a little bit bigger than this because you're going to have a total of 10. But this is kind of an idea of what yours will look like when it's all said and done. Alright, let's see what the next step. Once we enter customer information for 10 customers, we're going to select table and add all borders. So let's highlight everything that we want to add borders to. Yours will be 10, mine just has the 5. And then we are going to select under home, and I need to make sure my thing is wide enough to have it. Here's the border button, and we're going to click all borders. So now you see around each of these names, each of these boxes, there's a nice border. It asks us to select row 1 and fill it with a light color. The easy way to select the whole row is just to click on the 1, and we can then add a color. To make it a little bit easier though, let's just highlight what we want to have a color. So we'll highlight everything from L to A, and we highlight it by clicking, holding our mouse, and dragging all the way across. When we let go of our mouse, we'll have selected that, and now we're going to fill it with a nice light color. So let's do like a green, a light green. Now I've got my first row colored. Now it wants us to sort. We can do this. Alright, so we're going to select the first row, and we are going to want to sort the file. So the way we do that is we select this first row, click on the 1, and then we are going to go to this button right here and click on it. That'll add these little drop down arrows across the top. Now this is a really powerful function. Anywhere where there's text we have this little drop down arrow, and there's a lot of options we can do once we have this. You're going to spend a little bit of time playing around with this, but as always we need to save this file, so let's go ahead and save it now. You probably should have saved it as soon as you opened it and started working on it, but we'll save it now so we don't lose what we have. If you've already done File Save As, then you are just going to do File Save. If you haven't done File Save As yet, then you need to save it for the first time. You're going to click Box Sync, CEO Challenge, Student Work, and then click on your number and name. You're going to put your number, your name, and then customer database. We'll click Save. So now we've got it saved. And we have these nice filters right across the top. And now there's a lot we can do with these, so let's play around with them a little bit just to see what all we can do. So if I click the little down arrow button, I get a lot of options. One, I can go ascending or descending. So if I click ascending, it's going to put the names in alphabetical order by first name. If I'd like to see alphabetical order by last name, I can do ascending, and it's going to list my customers in alphabetical order from last name. If I wanted to find out, group them by cities, I can click ascending, and it'll put all of the customers in El Cajon in one spot, La Mesa, San Diego, and Alpine, which I should probably spell correctly. So this is a very powerful tool just in the fact that you can adjust what customers you want to see. Do you want to be able to see last name, first name? Do you want to be able to group all of the males and females together? So your females are on top, your males are here. Now another option, what you can do, and you have your birthday. So if you want to see date-wise who has the next birthday, maybe you like to send out happy birthday letters to your customers. You can sort your customer list by birthdays, and then just as the days go, check to find out if it's their birthday. Now another thing we can do, we have an option, is to select just specific criteria. So let's unselect Select All, and let's just select El Cajon. Now it'll show me from here on out just the customers from El Cajon. So if you have a database of, let's say, 100 customers and you wanted to find just the ones that lived in a certain city, you can select just their city. If I want to change this, I can clear filter and it'll turn that off. You need to make sure you clear filter after you do something like that, otherwise you won't be able to find your other customers. If I wanted to find out or just see males, I can unclick Select All and click just males, and it'll show me my male customers or just my female customers. Remember, you're going to clear filter when you're done, but it's really powerful if you want to see maybe the year somebody's born in. If you want to send something out just to customers that have the last name starting with A's, or if you want to find family members. So go ahead and play around with this and see what all you can do with filters. Before you start messing around though, save so you don't break your file. And remember, after every time you can put them in alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order. You don't need to change that filter, but if you ever take Select All off and just click something, you're going to have to change this filter, and it shows you, if you look right here, it has a different look. It's telling you that there's a filter on than all the other arrows. So if you say, I don't know where my other customers went, it's probably because there's something going on with the filter that's selected. So you can just clear the filter and all of your customers will be there. Go ahead and save, and you're done with your customer database.